Have you ever bought a CD, got it home, listened to it, and thought, hang on a minute, that's not the version I'm used to hearing? Well, that's what this video is about. It's about CDs with surprises. I've got about 11 CDs, just to be awkward, and 10 of them contain versions of songs that are not mentioned on the artwork, at least not on the outside. But the first one is a little bit different, and the first one is the most disappointing. That's this one here. Not disappointing in the music, but in the issue that this album has. This was the 1987 follow-up to the 1985 album, Rocker, and it contains a dozen early 60s Elvis rockers. A decent set of songs, but it does kind of reveal that Elvis wasn't quite rocking as hard in the 60s as he did in the 50s. However, track 9, Make Me Know It, on this album, it has a problem of distortion at the beginning. The piano intro is distorted, and it's not only the Japanese CD version, I believe it's on other CDs as well. I also have 3 LP versions, Japanese, American, and European, and they're all the same. There must have been some problem with the tape they used, so that was disappointing. Now, going back to the very first Elvis CDs, which came out, I believe, in 1983, I remember seeing this back in the day. I was just a teenager. I was working, so I had quite a bit of disposable income, but I think it was £65, which is quite a lot of money at the time. And I remember seeing this beautiful gold box set of CDs, 3 CDs, numbered certificate inside and everything. But I was so tempted to buy it, but I didn't have a CD player, so I put it back, didn't buy it, and sure enough, somebody bought it a few days later. Fast forward 20 years, I actually found a copy of The Legend right here in Japan. Numbered box there, 4068. I bought this from the son of an Elvis fan who sadly died, and the gentleman who sold it, he said he wanted it to go to an Elvis fan. And there's a little certificate that comes with it. So, have you heard this set? And if so, do you remember which song? There's one song on here which is unusual in that it's a different take to what you're probably used to hearing. And it's on this CD here, volume 3, which contains Elvis's later songs. And the version of If I Can Dream on this CD is actually take 4, whereas the master was take 5. However, it doesn't mention that anywhere on the set. So those are the kind of CDs we're looking at here. I sold all my records in the early 90s, and I didn't rush to get all my Elvis music back on CD, to be honest. I was listening to a lot of other stuff at the time. One of the first CDs I got was the Memphis record, because it contains not only great music, but it contains a lot of songs from really good sessions. And this is the Japanese version of that CD. And I remember that a lot of the mixes were very different to the ones on the original albums that these songs came out on. And I didn't mind the different mixes. I thought most of them were okay, and it was good to have different mixes. But there was one in particular that really bugged me, and it was so annoying because it's one of my favorite songs, not only on this CD, not only from these sessions, but of Elvis's music ever. And it's Gentle on My Mind. And if you've heard this CD or the album, you'll be aware that there's a backing vocal that comes in partway through the song. It's a male backing vocal, and it's just the most awful faux soul singing. And they very wisely mixed that down on the original version, and I think it might have been a session musician. I don't think it was Elvis overdubbing on top of his original vocal. But anyway, that's a real disappointment. It's like, otherwise, very good CD. That. Speaking of backing vocals, the next one is from 32 Film Hits. This is a double CD from Germany. I think it's from 1985, yeah. Back in the old West Germany days, long before the Berlin Wall came down. It's basically a few selections from several different movies. And you may know that Lover Doll was released in 2 versions, the King Creole song. One version had the Jordanaires and one didn't. The version of Lover Doll on this CD does have the Jordanaires. However, it doesn't have that little do 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 guitar introduction at the beginning. So it just goes straight into Elvis singing Love Adele, which is a little bit disappointing. Sticking with a movie song, I have this cheap looking compilation CD from, it says made in EEC. This is from 1987, and it's a 50s compilation, I believe. I'll show you the label. There were a lot of CDs like this coming out of Europe at the time, with this, you know, world music label, unofficial CDs. I'm not sure if they were legal in Europe at the time or not, but anyway, a lot of these cheap CDs that came out of Europe at that time are interesting because they have a few selections which are actually in electronically reprocessed stereo, which are otherwise quite difficult to find on CD. I know a lot of people don't really like electronically reprocessed stereo. I'm not a fan either, but it would be nice to collect all the songs on CD in that format, just to have them. And there are 3 songs on this particular CD which are in reprocessed stereo. They are Tutti Frutti, Blue Suede Shoes, and Shake, Rattle and Roll. And I've got a lot of other CDs on similar labels like that, all for a couple of, maybe $2 or $3 each, a while back, 2 or 3 years ago. And I just bought them really just as a gamble to see which ones had electronically reprocessed stereo songs on them, and quite a few did. So if you're interested, I could do another video on that one day, show you all the different ones I have, and which ones have reprocessed stereo songs on them. And staying with reprocessed stereo, an album that was supposedly had some songs in reprocessed stereo back in the day was Elvis for Everyone. I don't particularly mind the sound quality of any of these songs, whether they're in real stereo or not. I'll say that, however, there is one song that really did bug me on the old album that I had, and that's In My Way, because right at the end, especially at the end, you can hear this annoying buzzing sound. But I got surprised when I played this CD for the first time, because the version of In My Way is actually different to the one on the LP version. Let me just tell you the take number. It's take 2 that is on this one here. This is the first CD version from Japan from 1991. I also have this version here, which is from 1995. This one actually has the original take. And I also have this CD in the 60 CD box set, which also has the original take. So just the early ones have that alternate take too. It's almost the same, to be honest. And yeah, speaking of alternate takes, the next one we're looking at is Worldwide 50 Gold Award Hits Volume 1. So this was originally a 4 LP box set. Slight differences in the CD and the box set in that all the songs that were recorded in stereo originally are here in stereo, whereas everything on the box set was, of course, in mono. Viva Las Vegas and Crying in the Chapel appear out of sequence at the end of disc 1. I don't know why, but they're in mono. And disc 2 is all in stereo. That's strange. Why would they have a mono version of Crying in the Chapel and Viva Las Vegas? I know they've got stereo versions of both those. So anyway, there is one slight surprise on this CD. It is Anything That's Part of You. And the take here is take 9. And the master was take 10. And there is another CD out there. It's called... It's not coming to me. It's a Memphis CD. Nashville. Elvis in Nashville. That's it. It's a compilation CD. It's kind of a random compilation. That's why I don't really have it. And that one has take 1 of Anything That's Part of You. Again, that's not mentioned anywhere on the sleeve. Where are we going next? Okay, so in Japan in 1980, they released a 4 LP set called By Request of Japanese Fans. And I think it contained about 60 songs, or 50 songs, chosen by the Japanese fans. The most popular Elvis songs among Japanese fans. Then they released an LP of the most popular 15. It was called Elvis by Request Best 15. And then in the CD era, they expanded that to 20 songs. And here it is, Elvis Presley by Request. I'm going to check my notes here because there's quite a few interesting songs on here. There are 2 live versions that might take you by surprise the first time you hear it, because this is essentially a greatest hits compilation. And one is I've Lost You, which I believe is the same one as on That's the Way It Is. It also has a live version of In the Ghetto from Elvis in person. And there is yet another live song on here. And there is a little bit of a hint here in that it's 7 minutes, where is it now? 7 minutes and 7 seconds, there you go, Suspicious Minds. So that's a big hint that this is a live version, and it is the version from Elvis in person. I've mentioned before that the live albums were really popular in Japan, very big sellers, so it's not surprising that they would put live versions on their best compilations. And from one painting cover to another, welcome to my world. This is actually one of the rarer Japanese CDs. If you'd never bought this on album, you would not know that you're getting the Afternoon in the Garden version of I Can't Stop Loving You on here, because it just gives you the track listings. And even if you had bought the LP back in 1977, you were probably surprised when you heard the version of Your Cheating Heart, which is on here, because it's different to the one on Elvis for Everyone. So the version on here is take 9, and the original version was take 10. Right, here's another one with quite a few unusual songs on it, unusual versions, sorry. French compilation, La Légende, is it? Volume 1, yeah, 1954 to 1961. There is the back. I'll let you look at the track listing while I tell you the unusual songs. Is it in chronological order? Yes, it is. So the first song is That's All Right, and that is actually take 3. Very different from the released version. So Scotty Moore didn't have his solo sorted out at that point. So they must have done a lot of rehearsing between take 3 and take 4, because it's miles different. Blue Suede Shoes is on here. However, it's not the 1956 version. It's the version from the GI Blues album. It also has Loving You, but this is the fast movie version, take 3, not the slow version. Good Luck Charm is on here, but on here you get take 1, the version where Elvis says somebody goofed partway through. And finally you get a different version of Little Sister. It's take 6 on this album. And finally, last but not least, a very, very strange album. I've seen this in shops many times over the years and just thought, why did they release this? It's Elvis Country. So first of all, it's got the I Was the One sleeve design on the front. Although I believe they did release one version with the Elvis Country album design on the front with the picture of Elvis as a baby. But if you look at the back there, it's a CD, remember. It's only got 8 songs, which is probably about 20 minutes. It's a real waste of a CD. They could have put, 3 times as many songs on there. So, yeah, I think I picked this up one time and took one look at it and put it back down again and never thought about it again, until I realized that there are actually some unusual songs on here. First, the first hint is the cover itself. I Was the One, right? And if you look at the back there, it says tracks 3, 4, and 8 reissue produced by Tony Brown and David Briggs. So what are those songs? Baby Let's Play House, Rip It Up, and Paralyzed. So they are actually 3 songs that were on the, yeah, you guessed it, the I Was the One album. So those songs are quite hard to find on CD, those versions, I mean. And there are 3 other songs as well that were released in new versions around at that time. They are Love in Arms, and the 2 songs after that, You Ask Me To and She Thinks I Still Care. Those are all from the Guitar Man album. Reworkings done by Felton Jarvis, of course. The first 2 songs are both the Elvis Country versions whole lot of shaking going on, and funny how time slips away. Now these two songs both fade in, so they're basically the same as what you would hear on the Elvis Country album. After the I Was Born About 10,000 Years Ago section fades out. So yeah, it's quite interesting. It's more interesting than I initially thought, so I'm glad I got that now. So that's it then. So CDs with surprises. There must be a lot more out there. You'll have noticed that the vast majority of those are compilations, not original albums. The only original album in there was Elvis for Everyone, and they quickly corrected that in 1995, at least in Japan. I'm not sure about other countries. So are there any more? Do you have any other CDs with surprises like that, versions which you didn't expect to hear? Let me know about them in the comments below. I'd love to hear about them. But that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Take care. Cheers. Just time at the end here for some shameless self-promotion. Look what just came in from Memphis to Tokyo. 700 action-packed pages, all about Elvis's records in Japan. There you go, look at that sucker. Available from some good Elvis dealers right now. And if you can't find it, let me know, or let Dick Decker know. I understand some people have got this. If you have, what do you think? Let me know. I'd love to hear what you think. Maybe I'll do a video about this in the near future, but that really is it for now. Thanks for watching. Cheers.